Joe Gibbs Racing penalized again in Mexico for loose lug nut after Xfinity race inspection.
NASCAR making history. Racing in Mexico City. And the first name on the trophy is Shane Van Gisbergen.
Hell yeah, buddy. You are such a badass.
NASCAR's historic weekend in Mexico City just delivered more drama than anyone expected. Joe Gibbs Racing found themselves at the center of a penalty storm that's sending shockwaves through the garage. The number 54 Toyota, driven by Taylor Gray, failed post-race technical inspection after Saturday's Xfinity Series race. NASCAR officials discovered one loose lug nut during their examination. This violation represents far more than a simple technical oversight. JGR now faces incoming monetary punishment from NASCAR officials. The penalty amount will surface in this week's post-weekend penalty report. But here's what makes the situation explosive. This isn't JGR's first rodeo with lug nut infractions this season. Back in March, two JGR Xfinity Series cars received $5,000 fines each at Phoenix Raceway. These penalties fell under NASCAR rulebook sections 8.8.10.4a for lug nut infractions. Later that same month, four Xfinity Series teams faced penalties following post-race inspection at Homestead Miami Speedway. Each team received a $5,000 fine under identical rulebook sections. The penalties have been escalating. Earlier this month at Nashville, JR Motorsports received a $10,000 fine plus a crew chief suspension for one race. Connor Zeilish's car had two unsecured lug nuts post-race. The progression from 5,000 to 10,000 fines shows NASCAR's increasing frustration with these violations. JGR's Mexico City violation now adds another chapter to this troubling pattern. The organization faces questions about their preparation standards and attention to detail. How does a championship-caliber team repeatedly struggle with basic technical compliance? Shane Van Gisbergen dominated NASCAR's first Cup Series points race outside the United States since 1958. The New Zealander led 60 of 100 laps at Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez. His victory margin reached 16.567 seconds over second-place Christopher Bell. Van Gisbergen's triumph carries additional significance. He entered the weekend ranked 33rd in Cup standings with only one top 10 finish through 15 races. This Mexico City victory automatically qualified him for NASCAR's playoffs. "Man, that was epic," Van Gisbergen said after the race. The 36-year-old Cup Series rookie battled illness throughout the weekend. He slept on his hauler floor Saturday night before the race. "I felt pretty rubbish today, leaking out both holes. That wasn't fun," Van Gisbergen explained. "Our car was amazing. That last stint, man, what a pleasure just ripping lap after lap and watching them get smaller in the mirror. Unreal." Van Gisbergen's preparation included consulting Formula One champion Max Verstappen about Mexico City's circuit intricacies. "A little bit in the wet, just what lines to take and how to approach it," he said. What a guy. After his victory, Van Gisbergen performed his traditional rugby-style celebration by drop-kicking a signed football into the grandstands. Saturday's Xfinity Series race produced 36 total in-race penalties. 7 drivers dropped to the rear at the race start. Daniel Suarez received a tail-end penalty for switching to a backup car following his qualifying crash. 6 additional drivers headed to the rear for unapproved adjustments. The infraction sheet reads like a penalty catalog. Christian Eckes, Ruben Rovelo, Anthony Alfredo, Brennan Poole, Thomas Annunziata, and Andres Perez de Lara all faced pre-race penalties. 13 drivers received tail-end penalties for pitting before pit road opened. This violation dominated the penalty report. Ty Gibbs, the Cup Series star stepping down to compete, found himself among those penalized. Championship contenders Sam Mayer and Jesse Love both faced speeding penalties on pit road. The most severe punishments went to Chris Wright and Anthony Alfredo. Both drivers received stop-and-go penalties for shortcutting the course. Alfredo earned this penalty twice during the race, highlighting NASCAR's strict enforcement of track boundaries. Jeremy Clements faced multiple violations throughout the race. He received penalties for speeding on pit road and having too many crew members in contact with his car. These infractions resulted in pass-through penalties that severely damaged his race position. Ty Gibbs carried JGR's best hopes into Sunday's Cup Series race. He qualified 4th and demonstrated competitive speed throughout the event. Gibbs led 20 laps and battled Van Gisbergen for race control. An untimely caution on lap 65 destroyed his victory chances. "Sometimes life just doesn't work out for you," Gibbs said after finishing 11th. "Sometimes things don't work for you, and you just have to keep digging." JGR kept Gibbs on track 1 lap too long before the final caution. This strategic miscalculation trapped him under yellow while competitors gained track position. Gibbs believed he had speed to challenge Van Gisbergen for the victory. "Yeah, I think so," Gibbs said when asked about his winning chances. "Had fun. Go back to America now." The margin of defeat was particularly painful given his car's performance level. Stenhouse-Hochevar's spin brought out the race-ending caution. Hochevar couldn't restart his car, forcing NASCAR to display the yellow flag. "It was not going to happen," Gibbs said about reaching pit road before the caution. "I wish the light didn't go off." But it went. Kyle Busch entered Mexico City sitting at the bottom of playoff standings. The two-time Cup champion needed a strong performance to improve his postseason position. Instead, disaster struck on lap 6 when Busch crashed in wet conditions. "Just in the rain, and I went down into turn 11 and got on the brakes pretty hard, and everything was fine, everything was comfortable. Stopped really good," Busch explained. "And I'm like, okay, I can be a little more aggressive getting into turn 1, and I figured it was going to be fine, and as soon as I went to the brakes, it was like being on ice, and I was just sliding." Busch finished last in the 37-car field. This result devastated his playoff hopes and championship aspirations. He ranked 15th in Cup Series standings upon arriving in Mexico City. The early exit compounds his struggles throughout the 2025 season. Weather played a crucial role in Busch's misfortune. Early race rain created treacherous track conditions that caught multiple drivers off guard. Van Gisbergen's wet weather expertise gave him a significant advantage over competitors struggling with grip levels. NASCAR's return to international competition after 67 years created multiple storylines. The Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez hosted its first NASCAR Cup Series event. This 15-turn, 2.429-mile road course challenged drivers with technical sections and elevation changes. Daniel Suarez carried Mexico's hopes as the hometown favorite. The Monterrey native won Saturday's Xfinity Series race, delivering a crowd-pleasing performance. Suarez appeared emotional during pre-race ceremonies, blinking back tears while singing the Mexican national anthem. His Cup Series performance proved disappointing. Suarez finished 19th despite starting 10th and carrying substantial momentum from his Xfinity victory. Suarez said, "I wish I was in the mix fighting for it a little more, but it just wasn't in the cards." This result stung particularly hard given his contract year status with Trackhouse Racing. Jeff Gordon provided the race command with bilingual flair. The NASCAR Hall of Famer practiced his delivery before the event. "Hola Mexico!" Gordon shouted. "Pilotos, start your engines!" This moment captured the international spirit of the weekend. The Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Stenhouse-Hochevar feud continued after the race. Stenhouse reached inside Hochevar's cockpit on pit road in a furious confrontation. He grabbed at Hochevar while speaking to him, then slapped his helmet before walking away. This altercation marked the third consecutive week of tension between the drivers. Their conflict dates back to contact at Nashville Speedway. "I told him he's lucky we're in Mexico, and I'll see him in the States," Stenhouse said after the incident. The physical nature of this confrontation escalated their ongoing dispute. NASCAR officials will likely review the pit road altercation for potential penalties. Stenhouse's comments suggest their feud will continue when the series returns to American soil.